Okay, we are on the section 1.2, converting between fractions, decimals, and percentage, on the page 6. Last time on your section 1.1, what did we talk about? We talk about decimals, roundings, right? And what else? Scientific notations, right? So because you use the scientific notations like 2.5 e to the 10th power, what does that mean? Means times 10 to the 10th power, right? Then if 2.5 e to the negative 3 power, what does that mean? First one, you have to move your decimal to the right for 10 places. This one negative, you do opposite, you move to the left 3 places. That's a scientific notation, right? At the same time, what do we learn? We learned about the powers, 10 to the powers, right? And how to use calculator to do that as well, to find the number. But the calculator will show you a scientific notation if they have so many digits it cannot display, right? So you use the scientific notation. Then you use the calculator to find the numbers. How to use calculator to find the numbers, or computer, right? That's what we talked about in your section 1.1 last time, about decimals and roundings. So for stats class, we use a lot of decimals mainly, but sometimes we do use the fractions and we use a lot of percentage. So you need the skills for fractions to solve problems, right? Okay, so today we are going to talk about how we convert things between fractions, decimals, and percents. They are interchangeable. Most of the time in this class, you use decimals and percents, but we do use fractions to solve problems, so you need these skills. But you can use the calculator to help you to resolve it, okay? So we are going to review some basic concepts. For some of you, you're supposed to know how to operate on fractions, add, subtract, multiply, and divide. But just in case you don't remember, we are going to review a little bit and hopefully you catch up, okay? So what does fraction mean? If you do this way, what's the shade area, right? You split the whole place like a pie. You split it to 4 pieces. Then how many pieces you take? 3. So it's a 3 out of 4, right? Fraction means what? A part of a whole in general, okay? Then for this one, if you cut the pizza, how many pieces? This way, 8 pieces. Then how many pieces do you take? 6 out of 8. Are they the same? Yes. Right? So this is the way to show the fractions. Then how do we convert between them? The percentage, okay, and decimals and fractions. Let's see. They are equivalent sometimes when you convert them, right? Then they are almost the same, except and we round for the decimals. So fraction means what? Part of a whole, right? Then what is the percent? Percent means what? Per 100, okay? 1 out of 100 means 1%. 2 out of 100 means what? 2%. So that's a percentage, and you know the decimals. So let's first try to convert the percentage to decimals to fraction first. So if we have 45% here, 45 out of 100, 375%, 78%, 0.78%, 728%, right? So if you change to the decimal, 45%, 45 cents, how much dollar is that, right? So it's 45 cents, right? So here is 45. How can you make a decimal? So original decimal point for the percentage is here. So you move 2 places, it's here. So that's your decimal. That's how you do, right? For 375%, it's here. You move 2 places, it's here. So you have what? 3.75. So you drop your percentage, okay? Then this one, decimal 0.78. So you move 2 places. What do you have? It's here. So you have 0.0078. You fill in with the zeros, right? How about 7.28%? So you move 2 places. That would be 0.0728, right? So that's how we convert the percentage to decimals. Then how do we convert decimals to fractions? So we say this is the tens, hundredths place, right? So for this one, how should we do? We should say, okay, I have 45 over to the hundredths position. So your answer would be 45 out of 100, right? 45%, 45 out of 100. It's the same thing. Or you can change it from decimal to a fraction. However, you don't leave the answer here because for fractions, you always show it in the simplest form. Okay? I talked slowly. Hopefully you can remember. So, we simplify it. You can reduce by this way, divided by 5, right? That's how you reduce a fraction. If you still confused how to reduce the fractions, okay, we cannot say you are in trouble. But if you don't catch up, you will. So you need to go to LTCC Tutoring Center and talk to tutor online to help you, or you can call me. Okay, then for this one, so this is 100th place. So what do you have? For the second one, you have 375 out of 100. Okay, then you show the answer, okay, by simplifying. So that would be 20 divided by 5. That would be what? 75. Is that right? 75. Yes. Okay. There's typo on your answer key, but you can fix it. Then divided by 5. That would be what? 4 and 15, right? So that's the simplest form. So you write a 15 over 4. Or you can change it to improper fraction. 15 divided by 4 is what? 3. Then 15 divided by 4, right? 3, 12, and 3 left. Then 3 over 4. So your answer can be either way. Got it? Remember your fractions? Okay, for this one, so this one, how do you change the decimal to a fraction? So you count it. So tens, hundreds, thousands, and 10,000. Means it's 78 out of how many? 10,000. Right? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 4 zeros. Then you need to simplify by what? Those 2 can go into, that would be 39 over 500. So that will be your answer, 39 over 500, right? What do you think the last one? That will be 7 to 8 out. How many? Same thing, 10,000. Then you try to simplify, right? 7 to 8 is, oh, wait, just a second. I just double checked. So what do we have here is 0.75. So that would be 5 here. So that would be what? 5 here. Right? So then we cannot divide it by 2 anymore. What do? Divide it by 5. So that would be what? 145. That would be 2,000. Then we can divide it by 5 again. So that would be 29 4,000. So that would be 29 4,000. Is that right? Okay, we can change from decimal to fractions. We can also go from percentage to fraction. Got it? Okay. So if the percentage is given, then you will convert them to the decimal, then to the fraction. Okay, so if we just give you the decimal first, so decimal, so then percentage to fraction. Okay, if we give you decimal like such, 0.645, 1.43, you need to fit in the percentage. What do you think you would do? Right? Percentage, you move left 2 places. Then for decimal to percent, you need to move to the right to 2 places, to the per hundredth place. So that would be what? 3%, right? So if you move to 2 places, that would be 64.5%, right? Then for 1.4, you move 2 places, would be what? 140%. How about 3? 3 means decimal is here, you move 2 places, that will be 300%. Is that right? Okay. Then if we want to change it percentage to fraction, very straightforward. So first one is what? 3 out of 100, right? 3 per 100. So you cannot simplify anymore. That would be your answer. Okay, how about 64.5%? It's a per 100, right? So for the second one, you say 64.5% per 100. But we don't mingle decimals and fractions. So we want to write a simple fraction. Fraction means a simple number one over the other, right? So how do you do? To make a decimal go away, you times 10, right? So that will be 645 out of what? 1,000. Do we leave answer there? No, because you need to simplify. 5 can go into both, so you divide. You can use calculator. For this class, you can just divide it. Will be 129. Is that right? That will be 200. So your answer will be 129 out of 200. Then cannot simplify anymore. Okay. How about 140%? So means 140 out of 100, right? So you can divide it by 10 for both. Will be 14 over 10. Then you want to make it smaller, right? Divided by 2, that would be 7/5. Is that right? So that would be 7/5. Okay, I saw you have some arrows on your answer keys, so you can fix that. So 300% would be what? 300 out of 100. Then you simplify by divided by 100. That would be what? Just your regular 3. Right? Think about it. For some of you, still, it's very straightforward, but for some of you, you need to catch up, right? So what do we just do? We are converting between fractions, decimals, and percent. So first one we did was from percentage to decimals to fractions. And this one is from decimals to percentage to fractions. Okay? Then, okay, if we have this way, if we ask you for your test, maybe more like this. Okay? So we will give you different things. Okay? All mingled them together. Sometimes we will give you decimals, then ask you to fit in. Sometimes we'll give you a percentage, ask you to fit in. Or we'll give you fractions. Then you need to show in decimal form and percentage form. Once you have decimals, it's easy to change percent, right? So how do you change fraction to decimals? You can use computer or calculator to help you. So you can use calculator. Okay, just use calculator. So 1 divided by 4 is what? 0.25. Okay, just use calculator. So then change it to percentage. You move how many places to the right? 2 places. So then you add a percentage sign. Got it? Okay, 2 and 7/8. So you use calculator, 7 divided by 8. What do you have? 8.875. Then and 2 in front of it. So your answer should be 2.875. Right? Then if you change that to percentage, what do? Move to per 100 to the 100th place, right? So that will be 287.5. If you practice your homework refresh it, then you'll be okay. So we just change it back and forth between what? Fractions, decimals, and percentage. All right. Then take a look. The number part D and on your page 7. See, what do they say? It says convert fraction 4/7 to decimal and round it to the nearest hundred. Okay? You just do it by calculator. What do you have? Then you do 4 divided by 7. Then what do you have? 0.571 something. Right? Then we wanted to show the answer decimal rounding to the nearest hundredth. So that's your hundredth. That's all the positions you need. Then the remaining you either drop or round up. So your answer should be 0.57, right? Remember how to do it by hand? 4 divided by 7. You do the decimal here, right? We just do it once, but actually you just use calculator will be fine. 7 cannot go into 4. What do? Add 1 0. 7 can go into 40 how many times? 5. 5 times 7, 35. Remember this? Then you minus that. You drop another 0. 7 can go into 50, 77 times, 49. Then 1, you drop another 0. Right? 7 can go into 10 one more time. You keep going. Right? But we say we are going to round it to the nearest hundredth. So it's here. So we don't need to go any further because all we need is just one position more to decide. Then you drop it. Then you end up is 0.57. Are we good? Let's see some apps. So for stats, it's all word problems. How do you translate the words, English words, to math statements, math language? So you will change the English to math language so you can solve problem with numbers. Okay? So from beginning you might have issues with words, what do they mean? But that's the whole idea. So you will get used to it. So this class is to help you how to connect the words with math. Okay? Then we will introduce to you gradually. So look at your page 7. Okay, some apps. Part E. First one. Sometimes the words you may not understand, but eventually you get it. Okay. First one, in regression analysis, an important number that is calculated is called R-squared. It helps us determine how helpful one variable is in predicting another variable. The computer and calculator always display it as what? A decimal, but it's more meaningful as a percent. Suppose that the R-squared value that relate the amount of studying students do to prepare for a final exam and the score on the exam is what? R-squared equals 0.8971. Convert this to a percent rounded to a nearest whole number percent. You say, what the hell is this? Right? So we are introducing some terminologies, vocabularies for you. Something called R-squared. You have no idea what it is, but you will learn the actual meaning in stats class. But focus on the question. What do we need to do? The last sentence is saying, convert this to a percentage rounded to the nearest whole number. So all they want you to do is convert, say, r squared, right? You are going to use this later, something called r squared value, which we will use, right, relate to something student studies to prepare for final exam and the score, whatever that is, right? But for now, what you need to do is convert this to a percent. So that's all you need to do, just convert it, right? So for this one, it's what? Decimal. Then convert it to percentage, you move to right, 2 places. So your answer is 89.71%. Is that right? But it says you want to round this answer to a whole percentage, whole number percentage. That means you want a whole number, no decimals inside your percentage. So you need to drop those, but you need to round up, right? Because it's above 5. So what do you have? Then this one go. So your answer should be what? 90%. Got it? We are going to use the r squared later. How we are going to use it? It says what? Helpful to, it helps us determine how helpful one variable is in predicting another variable. So stats is all about prediction, right? The purpose, hopefully we can predict the future and, predict the winning. That was the idea. Next one. Suppose that you wanted to find the value of such that 2.5% of the entire area under the normal curve lies to the left of x. The first step would be to convert the 2.5% to a decimal. What decimal is equivalent to 2.5%? So when you first encounter the question, you will be confused. First, you have a curve, and it's given to you like this. You don't know what does it mean, okay? Then it gives you 2.5% at this area, 2.5%. Then it also threw you in an x. You have no idea how to handle x for most of you, okay? Then we call this normal curve. Then you don't understand why it's called normal curve. Right now, we just threw a bunch of words to you, let you get familiar with. The true meaning you need to learn in stats class. But focus on the question. What was the question? To answer the question, actually, it's very simple. It says, what decimal is equivalent to 2.5%? That means you are going to change what? From percentage to what? A decimal. That's all you need to do, okay? But in the meantime, you are learning what? Something is called a normal curve. And they will throw you in the x, okay? Then shade some kind of area, say, oh, that's 2.5%. Later on, you will learn the whole area will give you 100%, then portion of it, little portion, it's 2%, 2.5%, things like that, okay? Now, all we need to do is what? What was the question? Change the percentage to a decimal. How do you do that? You can do that, technical part, right? Move to 2 places to the left, So your answer, new decimal will be here, 0.25. So that will be your answer. Okay. As long as you have to read the question, then decide what kind of question is that. And for the problem we give to you, you should be able to answer it. Okay? For the things we are learning. So, right? Look, the next one on your page 8. You will encounter this quite a bit later on to find something called probabilities. Probabilities means what? How big the chance things will happen, possibly happen, probably will happen. So we find the probabilities. Okay. For the problem 3, we are going to talk about the dice. Okay, on your page 8. So let's see the problem first. In statistics, we need to find the basic probabilities and create a table for them. Suppose that you roll 2 6-sided dice. What percent of the time with the sum equal to a 4, rounded to nearest whole number percent? What are they talking about? So if you roll 2 die, right? So if it just happened, 1, 1, so we are going to use the table to show you the first one is the first die, then second is the second one. Okay, so this table is showing you this. If you roll the 1, 1, that would be first case. Okay, if you roll the 1, 2, possibly, or 1, 3, right? First one is 1, the second one can be 1, 2, 3 to 6, right? Then second line shows you if we have first one is 2. Oops, where is 2? Then I can have what? 1 here, right? 1, right? Then 2. So combination would be like this. 2, then this one can be 1, 2, 3 to the 6, right? If the first one is 3, then you can have 6 chances for different things. Then first one is 4, then you have 6 cases. Then first one is 5, right? Then you can have 6 cases. Same thing, first one is 6, then you can have a combination to put with. The first one would be this. That's the situation. So we use the table to show you what's the first die and second die would be this situation. Let's see what was the question. It says you will roll 2 6-sided dice. What's the percentage of time with the sum equals to 4? Because you wanna, see how many total. We wanna find out the chance for it happens to the 4, right? So the sum means what? If you add these 2 together, so that would be 2, right? Then if you add 1 and 2, 2 and 1, that would be what? 3. That's what the table is showing you. Then if you add it together, if it's a 4, that can be what? 1 and 3 would be 4, 2 and 2, 3, and so that would be 4. Okay? If you want to add it to 5, can be 4, 1, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 4. Is that right? If you want to add it to 6, that would be 5, 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 2, 4, and 1, 5. Right? If you want to add it to 7, that would be 6, 1, 5, 2, 4, 3, 3, 4, 2, 5, 1, 6. Do you see that? And if you want to add it to 8, that would be what? 6253443526, right? If you want to add it to 9, that would be 63544536, right? If you want to add it to 10, that would be 645546, will be 10. If you want to add it to 11, 5665. Then if you want to add it to 12, both have to be what? 6 and 6, right? So if you add the two together, it will be this case. Then go back to look at the question again. What was the question? What's the chance you wrote it together is 4. That's the situation. So how many situations you have? You can have a 1, 1, 2, 2, or 4, 2, right? Totally, each one have 6 chances. Oops, 6 chances, right? Another one has what? 6 chances. Total, how many? Look at the situation. How many situations you can have? 6 here, 6 here. Total is what? 36 cases. Situation, right? Then how can you make it happen? 6 times 6. So total will be what? 36 situations, right? The question is asking you, total is 4. So how can you make it 4? You can either have a 3, 1, first one is 3, second one is 1, right? Or 2, 2, or 1, 3. So totally, how many situations can make a 4? 3 of them, right? So to make sum 4, you have what? 3 situations. So what's the chance? Happen to 4 out of total situation. That means 3 situations out of a total 34 situation, right? So you will be 3 out of 36, which, right? Then you divide, you have what? 0.0833 and that. Then it asks you round it to the nearest whole number percent. So you change it to percent first, which is what? By percentage, 8.333%, right? Then round it to the whole number, that will be what? Your 8%. That's how you think, okay? Then in the meantime, we want you to learn the symbols, how to show the idea in stats class. So we are talking about probability, so that's probability, okay? Then for the sum situation, we call events, okay? So situation is what? You describe the sum is 4. That's how we show it. Then it's out of what? The chance for it is 3 out of what? Total. Okay, the possibility out of total possibilities. Then you will get the answer as 8%. That's how you do it. You can just write it like this to show the answer, to show your thinking, but formally, we just learn the symbols, how to show the probabilities. Probability was P, then event, the situation put in the parentheses. Okay? Are we good? So what are we talking about in this section today? We are converting between fractions, decimals, and percent. So we change the percentage, what? Decimal to percentage by dividing the fractions. In the meantime, you will apply those skills to the concepts for the probabilities for stats. Are we good? This will cover your section 1.2.